players remain in the field today. ThorZaIN and Rhett are duking it out for one of those top 2 spots in their round robin group to see if they can advance to championship Saturday here at Dreamhack. I'm Day 9.
And I am Mr. Bitter. And you know what? Rhett is like one game away from locking up a spot in that championship bracket.
Yeah, managed to take down Nama 2-1, almost suffered a loss, was very, very, very close in some of those moments. However, he pulled off a good 2-1 comeback victory, and now he's up 1-0 against ThorZaIN that many would argue is a superior Terran player who weirdly chose a map that I think is very, very much so a Zerg one.
I was going to ask you about that myself. ThorZaIN opting to go with Antigua. I wonder if maybe he has something planned for it, because in my opinion, cross-map Antigua Shipyard is just like Zerg heaven, especially since these center bases are not gold bases.
In the right position, the Zerg player, extremely solid, never does anything gimmicky, always, always a contender to win any tournament. It is Liquid Rhett.
And Rhett's opponent down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, the red Terran player. Let's make some noise for ThorZaIN.
I cannot emphasize enough how weird of a map choice this was for ThorZaIN to choose freaking Antigua Shipyard.
Yeah, what could he have going on here?
Mutalisks are stupidly good on this map. The one benefit that you do have as a Terran player is that this third base is relatively easy to secure. You can plop down tons of tanks and marines at your front and comfortably hold 3 bases, but not easily hold 3 bases. The Mutalisks will be able to swing around, harass nearly everything without having to fly over too much distance.
Now, it's maybe possible. We've seen Koss play the quick double expand style on this map and be very successful here. And you know, Rhett's play style is very, very akin to Idra's play style. If ThorZaIN were to try to do something like that, get some Hellions out, secure some map control, and then double expand, I could see that working, maybe.
You know, I do think the strategy could work, but ThorZaIN is so passive. I would not, you know, predict him to be the kind of player who would like to get a lot of Hellions, be aggressive with 8, 10, 12 Hellions, and then follow it up with 12 Marines and 12 Hellions. I mean, the reason those triple base plays work as Terran is because you are attacking Zerg a lot.
Right, yes. Right, because when you give Zerg the freedom to just drone up and do whatever they want, it gets tough. It gives Zerg the initiative. So I guess the reason Koss is able to make it work is because he's able to kind of control the tempo, which is something that ThorZaIN doesn't necessarily like to do. He's a really reactive player. But in spite of that, we do have the gas down for ThorZaIN. He, throwing down that factory there. So what's it going to be?
I absolutely do not mind a double Hellion play on really any map. This map, fine as well. I mean, Hellions, a lot of people think that will always be looking for a lot of space to maneuver around in, but also just distance is another great reason to get Hellions. Even on nice closed off maps, just saying, well, my Hellions can get over there quickly, buy me a lot of time. Definitely a good reason to get them.
Certainly. Rhett does have that gas down, so he'll be able to get his speed going here in just a few minutes. And, you know, this is just the same old tried and true Rhett opening we've seen. Oh, that first Marine poking out again. This time Rhett hasn't made any Zerglings, so Marine could easily get a kill.
Well, ThorZaIN looks like he really wants to get it, and whoa, ThorZaIN kills a drone. Can ThorZaIN kill 2 drones?
Maybe.
ThorZaIN. Whoa, King Stutter Step. Oh,
wow,
my God,
what
second
a hero.
drone.
What a hero, the Swedish Marine.
He was only a recruit.
Far stronger than the Space Marine.
Wow. Incredible play.
Yes,
by that Marine. We don't see any tech lab from ThorZaIN. Could signal that we might, tech lab from ThorZaIN. Could mean he's going to pop right back into that Marine tank opening. ThorZaIN looks standard as can be. And there's the typical gas timing as well. So, yeah, I think we will be seeing some tanks popping up here.
Yep, very, very likely. Second group of Hellions is going to pop out, giving him his 3rd and 4th Hellions. With that, he can secure some map control. Kind of unlikely that he's going to do huge amounts of damage with him, but you never really know when you've got ThorZaIN control. Beyond that, we see that Rhett is just starting that creep spread. There's the 3rd Queen popping out as always, and look at Rhett positioned right there on that ramp, making sure those Hellions don't get too carried away with their running in circles.
Yeah, Rhett trying to close off all those spaces just to discourage these Hellions, but Got to be very, very careful. If you misplace those queens, that is the placement right there. Oh, queen immediately goes back home to inject some larvae. They were just doing their wall-off impersonation. Yeah, let's get back to work. We need to inject larvae and lift up our skirts and drop creep tumors.
4 active creep tumors for Rhett as he begins to push it. What the hell?
Hey, it's a triple command center play. Love this opening from Terran. I consider it one of the most standard, stable, basic openings in this matchup. You do the double Hellion play, and then you go back to double Marine and tank, and that is the wrong upgrade. This is not the standard upgrade. Woo. I mean, ordinarily you just go Marine tank, and then once you have enough tanks, you step to here, and this command center floats from your main down to a third base.
Yeah,
easy peasy. It's the bomber opening.
Yeah, this is sort of like what we saw Koss doing. I don't think ThorZaIN's going to take that third right away, though. I think he's just going to use that third command center to pump out SCVs and mills. And then when he feels super secure, he'll float out there. Rhett, in the meantime, doing normal Rhett things. Macro hatch down in the main base. That's a little bit new. Where's the Spire? Spire going down also in the main.
Oh, and this is cool. Look at this. 3 creep tumors up on the high ground.
Yeah, I love this.
And now he's going to be extending it all together. 4 creep tumors. I hope to God he lands creep tumors on that thing. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
And now, see, the reason I hate Blue Flame Hellions here is that what is it preventing Zerg from doing, or what is it trying to do? I mean, you can't prevent Zerg from taking an expansion or spreading creep because he's already very clearly established that. You can't prevent him from taking an expansion because you won't have high enough numbers. And you can't really even go for a drop because he's going to have Mutalisks in a couple seconds anyways. It just seems like this complete mis-upgrade, and I actually genuinely believe that ThorZaIN thought that he got siege mode. He's starting it immediately.
Oh dear. Does he really want to commit to this push against Rhett? The Spire is finishing, and Rhett's going to be able to make about 8 mutas here in the next couple of minutes. He's got all the supply room that he needs to do so. 4 mutas started up immediately. ThorZaIN is going to scan and take out quite a few creep tumors.
Do have those Hellions there. They don't really have that high of a count. They do have that nice blue flame upgrade, but ThorZaIN has no other buildings. He's getting a Thor and Marines 2 at a time.
Is he going to just go mech?
Is he meching?
No, he's got a barracks. He's just got the 1 factory. He's made a lot of mech stuff off of just a single factory, but I don't think so.
Whoa, he is going to be going for this factory play. Look at the double armory.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
This kind of a weird timing to switch into mech, isn't it? It takes a long time to build up a mech ball, and if he's going to be starting this late, I'm not convinced, Day 9.
Either way, ThorZaIN never does anything on a whim. He is a very, very well-practiced player, knows what he wants to get established. And this is a little bit weird. We did see this vehicle weapon started, but was not actually
allowed to finish.
Yeah, it was canceled very, very early on.
Maybe he just wants to add a couple more factories. Thor does pop out and chases away those mutas. I can kind of see the logic here, because now that the Thor is out and ThorZaIN is starting to establish a bit of a ground army, he can float over and secure that 3rd base. And with 3 bases, he can really pump off these factories really hard. But he's going to be so passive. Red is already busting down these rocks, so he'll know exactly when ThorZaIN does take this expo.
And I do think Rhett needs to begin getting the Roach Warren, needs to begin spreading out, mutilating Baneling. It's actually not that bad against mech. It's not amazing, but Banelings are surprisingly effective against the Thors because the Thors tend to cluster up a good bit anyways. I mean, obviously you'd wish that Thors were light, but of course that would not make any sense, lore or otherwise.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would argue that Banelings are necessarily good against Thors. Like if someone asked me what's the counter to Banelings or to Thors, I'm not going to say make Banelings, but they can certainly work, especially when used in conjunction with a decent amount of mutas. And honestly, when I see a Terran player making Thors, one of my first responses or one of the first questions I ask myself is, can I get enough mutas out to just kill him with pure muta? Those mutas are a little bit clumped up. Red does take 1 shot, but that's not too terribly bad. Only 3 of those mutas taking splash damage.
It does look like the expansion is trying to go up. Counterattack easily, sort of denies it, but we see those Blue Flame Hellions advancing forward. I mean, I now can confirm that that Blue Flame was not the mistake or anything like that, but, you know, ThorZaIN just, gosh, is in such a weird spot. He has only 3 factories.
Yeah, and he's honestly, his money is spiking up a little bit higher than he can support right now. He needs to add in probably 2 more factories, I would wager. Muta's being a little bit active here, picking off an SCV and a couple of units. But ThorZaIN is doing a pretty decent job of not taking big damage.
And it looks like Mutiling Baneling is going to be the option of choice for Rhett, and that surprises me a good bit. I would love to see more roaches and mass expanding. Even things like Nidus Worm and drops become very, very strong ways to combat that immobility and strength of mech.
Excellent creep spread again here for Rhett. He's just got it moving all across the map. A few of those active tumors were taken down, but he's still got 1, 2, well, actually quite a lot, 4, 5 active tumors still. Excellent creep spread here for Rhett as the mutas do fly back into the main base, and oh, hello, Thor.
Oh, magic boxing, easily able to take it down.
Lost, I think, 3 mutas there, though, which might not quite have been worth it.
Keeping that Thor count low is going to help keep Rhett feeling comfortable in that mid-game. See more tanks being produced by ThorZaIN, who is still on just 3 factories. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Oh, that felt good.
Banelings, hello.
Hello, Banelings. Oh, and he wants them all to go to the left. If we look at that unit production tab, we see that there is 2-2 upgrades coming up very swiftly from ThorZaIN. I think of all compositions, mech gains the most from those upgrades.
Man, ThorZaIN's army is spread out very, very nicely, and that's going to make these Banelings a little bit ineffective. Siege tanks all over the place. Are there enough Thors to deal with the mutas? It's 13 mutas against, how many Thors? 4 Thors, so yeah, I guess so.
There's the Baneling hits going down. Rhett is just streaming in, has a lot of units. We see the Mutilus magic boxing very, very nicely, and with a ton of Zerglings. I think that ThorZaIN was very much so caught off guard by that high Zergling count.
Oh, wow. I'm so surprised that Rhett just attacked into that. And I think ThorZaIN is also quite surprised, losing the Thor and his natural Zerglings, just laying waste to the third base. And there are Zerg units, finally getting ushered out of the natural expand.
Trying to get away. The Blue Flame Hellions do manage to catch some of those Zerglings that have lined up. Yeah, but still, we see Liquid Red has just dealt a fatal blow to ThorZaIN, who really can't even get that many SCVs back, finding 23 workers killed off in that exchange. More Zerglings getting ready to attack.
That's a really big deal, Day9, because a mech army is so hard to replace. Why is he continuing to make this many Banelings? 36 Banelings in production for Rhett. And like we said, Banelings are okay against mech, but at this point, don't you want to just stream Zerglings and switch into Roach?
Well, I mean, I think Rhett realizes that there's not that much of an answer except the Hellions, which will melt very quickly if the Banelings can get at the proper angles. The Banelings are now starting to stream on in, and this is the reason that he built the Banelings.
I hate refineries so much.
Oh no, he doesn't kill off that one command center.
Yeah, command center barely staying alive there. So not a good exchange for Rhett. If you're going to throw away that many Banelings for a building, make sure you kill the building.
Yeah, wow. I mean, you can't just bring it to 80 health and then go, done. Looks like Zerglings are repositioning to do another attack. We have Mega Mules from ThorZaIN.
Yeah, still just on 3 bases is ThorZaIN. His main's starting to thin badly. His natural also thinning up some as well. Man, Rhett is just, he's lost some drones over here on the right side of the map, whereas ThorZaIN is just trying to stabilize.
Oh, looks like everything getting surrounded. Another counterattack by those Zerglings, and it looks like ThorZaIN is completely underprepared. Doesn't have these tanks sieged up. He needs to siege them up very quickly. He needs to have some sort of siege up, and it looks like Blue Flame Hellions are just that good.
Wow, ThorZaIN really not paying attention to his mineral line there. Lost a bunch of workers. He's lost 40 SCVs in total. Ooh. And if we look at the units tab, Rhett has maybe over-droned a little bit, Day9. He's up to 97 drones. Surely he's going to start making about 27 spine crawlers, right?
Well, looks like Liquid Red is just going straight into Ultralisk. He's getting the +3 upgrades. The +2 Carapace is almost done. More command centers being planted at the front, no doubt, for those defensive planetary fortresses. ThorZaIN almost certainly not going to be able to do any sort of pushing anytime soon. And when those 7 Ultralisks pop out, I think ThorZaIN might frown.
I don't know if I agree with this choice by Rhett to make Ultras, Day9. He just dumped all of his bank into these Ultras. He's still got a huge economy, no doubt, but if he were to lose these Ultralisks without having a really, really great exchange, it could be the beginnings of a comeback for ThorZaIN.
I do think that combined with a lot of Zerglings, that high Ultralisk count might be exactly what he needs to break through there, but the Blue Flame Hellions are seeing short work of the drones there, and oh my god, my teeth whistled so loudly I can't even think very clearly anymore. My sinus hurts. ThorZaIN now trying to swing around to these drones at the natural, or at the fourth base of Rhett, and it looks like Rhett's trying to do the runaround, but he clustered him up.
Wow, really big drone roast, and Rhett is actually going to be replacing these drones, in spite of the fact that he still has 76 of them. Actually, I can kind of, I'm okay with that. 80 drones is a good place to end that. Look at all these Ultralisk Day 9, and look at Rhett's money. He's at zero minerals, 0 gas, and you know he's got a scary army. Zergling Ultralisk is really scary against this mech ball, but I mean, if ThorZaIN gets a good position, if he's sieged up when he fights, and if he kills off these, well, it's 135 to 200, 200.
Ooh, a Thor getting a little bit caught out of position. The tanks do try to siege up. He manages to get some huge blasts down, but the Zerglings are starting to overrun. The Thors at the front, their numbers are slowly dwindling down. The Zerglings at the back are wrapping around. It looks like Liquid Rhett has completely decimated this mech defense.
Crushed right through it. ThorZaIN just didn't have enough. He was only at about 136
and there's
supply.
The good game. Liquid Rhett has almost guaranteed a spot advancing to the championship bracket tomorrow in the top 16.
Yeah, it makes him 2-0 in the group, so I think he is certainly going to